Great.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
Like, man, welcome to the Is This Entertainment podcast. You're listening to Jacob Miller and
Ben Owens.
Ben Owens. We're going to talk about the season finale of The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 8, Chapter 16. You're singing over our song.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot that.
Speaking of our song, please, somebody, if somebody wants to listen to the song, please go
give it a download.
Give it
You've
a
only
download.
heard it at the beginning and end of every episode.
Yeah, but you can hear the whole song. People might want to know what the lyrics
Here's the
are.
whole thing.
Yeah, listen to the whole thing.
Get a feel for the complete piece here.
Yeah, we're trying to say something here. I don't know what it is, but we're trying to say something. God, I hate my laugh.
We got a story to tell.
Wheezy,
we don't know that story. We're still figuring it out.
We're still figuring it out.
But we got it.
We're at the beginning of our journey. Yeah,
that's right.
And we appreciate you guys being here with us. I know there are people actually listening to this, so we appreciate you. And
wild.
Yeah, it is weird.
Totally
right?
wild.
There are people listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So, how you feeling, buddy?
Man, I've just been like, I've been so happy, and I've rewatched this episode maybe 5 times now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I feel like Star Wars is back.
Okay.
Huge spoilers ahead, as with every episode.
Yeah. Big time spoilers. We are talking about season finale. No holding back.
I got chills, man. I got chills.
Yeah.
That music. I know I bashed the music before.
Right.
But it's like they were listening to me. I said the music was getting repetitive, and the last couple of episodes have kind of mixed it up a bit. I've noticed it. And then that music, man, right when that X-Wing comes in, holy shit. I freaked out. I was like, no way. I'm like, they're not doing it. And then the fucking green lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cloak. Just mauling, the gloved hand, mauling people. Holy shit.
Let me tell you about my Friday morning. Okay, so you texted me at 10:31 a.m. on Friday, the day that the episode came out.
Yes, I did.
With capital O, capital M, capital F, capital G, exclamation point, text call when you watch Mando.
Was that too much of a spoiler?
No. That was great. So that happened. All right, 1. 2, where's that? All right, Friday, 2:52 p.m. My buddy Jamie texts me, oh my God, Mandalorian. Okay, so that's 2:52 on Friday. I text him back the same thing that I text you. Probably gonna watch it tonight. Got some Friday day stuff, and we'll watch it when it's the appropriate viewing time for me, which is roughly 9:30 at night.
Right.
I then, at that point, I'm like, okay, big things are happening. This is obviously, if I've got, like, you texting me is one thing, because obviously we're going to talk about it today, right now. Jamie texted me about it, not out of the realm of possibilities. We talked Star Wars a good amount, and him and his family went to the Galaxy's Edge a while back, sent me a bunch of pictures. That was really cool. So it's not like outside of the realm of possibilities. But for him to text me, I was like, okay, things are happening. And then I was on Facebook just doing a quick scroll. Terrible website. Don't recommend to anybody. And
amen.
Somebody had like a tiny, it wasn't spoilery, but it was just like, I saw something about the Force and was like, I'm out of here. I don't need this in my life. So
wise decision.
Exit out of that. Later on in the day, I'm looking at Twitter.
I don't know why you do this to yourself.
I have unfollowed Ming-Na. I've unfollowed Ming-Na. So we know she's not going to be the one to spoil anything. And subsequently, now after I've watched the show, I've gone back and followed Ming-Na. She's a fun follow. But I'm scrolling through the tweets, and a comedian that I like was like, hey, no spoilers, but Mandalorian is absolutely amazing and it's everything in the world. And I was like, okay. And he also said, don't look at what's trending. So I didn't do that for the rest of the day. I was like, you know what? Got to minimize, closing in the circle.
Close everything.
So
turn off your phone.
Here's where it gets wild too. At about 8:45, my brother calls me.
No.
And that's just like a little late for him to call me. He's got 3 kids. He has, a job that requires him to wake up at a normal hour. So he goes to bed on the earlier side. So it's like 8:45, 9, something like that. It might have been later. I don't need to check. It's not that important. It was late enough for me to be like, he just watched The Mandalorian and he's calling to talk about it. I know what this phone call is. Yeah. And I can't answer it. Yeah. I can't answer it.
Very wise.
So I just let it go to voicemail. He did not leave me a voicemail. And then once we finished, so I successfully made it through the day without getting spoiled.
But you had a heads up.
It was just like, I had like constant, like, it's going to be the most amazing thing ever. Oh my, like, yeah. There was definitely a lot of anticipation floating my way from outside forces to make me basically think whatever happens is going to be super wild.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that like it was a little bit of a detriment. I think this is gonna shock you. I was a little disappointed that it was Luke.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. It was amazing. It was wonderful. Loved every second of it. But, the part of me that wanted it to be just some like wild out there kind of a thing, as opposed to like not course correcting, but, heading back toward the familiar Skywalker setting. This felt outside of the Skywalker world enough to where I didn't need him to be in it.
Right. But if Grogu is force chatting,
he's
gonna find
there's only so many options.
There's only so many options, yeah. Which we went over before.
Right. There's only so many options. It makes the most sense. It's definitely like an Occam's razor situation of the simplest answer. It should have been Luke, and it was. Maybe I was hoping for Mace Windu. Yeah. I don't know what I was hoping for, honestly.
It's like a random guy. It's like I'm just like, hey,
I don't know. Watto comes back and he's a Jedi.
Yeah.
Hey, Grogu, I teach you Jedi. I don't know. I thought that would be fun. But when it happened, like when the X-Wing showed up, I was like, I know exactly what's happening. And I'm thrilled about it. I'm also like a little skeptical still. So it was like, X-Wing pulls up. I mean, they're not gonna. Are they? And then it's like they just give you like this little bit.
It was so well directed.
This little bit.
Like just those shots through those cameras.
It was so well directed.
Through those freaking
his fighting style felt like Luke's fighting style.
Yeah.
Also, the entire time I was like, is it going to be Luke, or is it going to be Mark Hamill, or is it going to be somebody else?
Right.
That was
the question.
That's what preoccupied my mind for most of it. So
me too.
I had to go back and watch it.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, I was just staring, like, what is this? Like, just glued to the screen.
Right. It was okay. What's is it going to be Sebastian Stan?
Exactly.
Is it going to be digital whatever? Is it going to be some young actor we've never heard of?
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that was preoccupying my mind,
right? And
while awesomeness was happening.
Just enjoy the story, yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the reveal happens and they show his face, then I'm like, okay, I still can't quite tell. Like I definitely know that they've deep faked Mark Hamill's face onto another person. Is that person, like, I'm still trying to figure out,
is it Sebastian Stan with the Mark Hamill face, or is it just animation?
Exactly. Right. Is there a guy wearing green with dots all over himself, or do we have an actual actor and then they just face swapped? It was a high anticipation day, and I think that led me to just think like this is gonna be like so completely out there. When in actuality, all of that anticipation was about this beloved character coming back.
Yeah.
In what many believe to be his like most purest form.
And what I don't understand is why the technology that Lucasfilm seems to want to use for this face thing is like the skin doesn't track. So when they talk, when you talk normally, the skin around your eyes moves. And for whatever reason, Lucasfilm's version of this does not move that skin around their eyes. So it just looks like they're just like this, and it just
Yeah,
looks
it's
nuts.
very like isolated.
Yeah, and it just looks like a
Yeah.
photo or something with the mouth moving. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it doesn't look right. And whereas
Mhm.
the actual deepfake technology does all that somehow does the skin mapping, and I just wish they would
Right.
just use the deepfake. As at this point, if that's what they're going to
I
do, or use a Sebastian Stan.
right. I also couldn't quite tell if it was Mark Hamill's voice.
It sounded like him. It did sound like him.
Oh, it was definitely him. Like now that I've like gone back and listened to it again, watched it again, it's definitely him. I'm sure they put some sort of like EQ on it, but at the same time, he's a very good voiceover actor. So I'm sure you can say like, hey man, do 1983 you listen to a couple of videos and they'll get it.
Yeah, I'm sure he can do it. And if he can't, there's like technology where you can pitch shift like the whole thing or just parts of your voice, like the formants of your voice, like all that exists. So getting it there, I think they, I feel like they did a good job on his voice. Actually, I was surprised.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job on his voice. And honestly, like going back and watching it without trying to like figure out, all the details, rewatching it, I was much more on board. I was like, okay, no, this looks really good.
Yeah.
It's not, I would say for me, I thought they did a great job with Governor Tarkin in Rogue One, and Leia less of a good job.
Right.
Leia's face was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
It was so big
Luke's
that you could
was
see
good.
All the details. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely think it's like Leia, Luke and
Tarkin.
then Tarkin.
I think Tarkin's works because he's more in the shadows and the shots were further away.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought cinematically they did a better job of like creating a space to hide some of the flaws. Plus he's an older character.
Right.
So like wrinkles and stuff are going to hide more, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like, or just like,
I don't know how to animate a person, but
he's not as prominent of a character in our minds either. So you don't really probably notice the difference as much, as
true. Yeah. I'm sure if I like went straight from watching a Peter Cushing scene.
Yeah. To
the digital, that it would be wonky.
Yeah. I agree. I had the same experience where like the first time was like, what is happening? And then the second time was like, okay. Yeah. It's just, I'm too critical, and my critical eye was like, what the hell is going on? And then the second time and the third time and the fourth time, every time I watch it and that music comes on, I get chills.
Yeah. I also liked how it felt like the hallway scene at the end of Rogue One where Darth Vader just destroys everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It had some of that vibe, which, I think part of that is, it's a nice father-son thing, but I think on a more backed out view, people loved that scene in Rogue One. So if you have an opportunity to do something similar, do it.
I think everybody loves a hallway scene. Daredevil famously.
Oh my gosh, the Daredevil hallway scene was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves a hallway. You get a hallway scene, and you get a
yeah. Oh gosh, and then Defenders, that was a great hallway scene too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
where they first team up, that was good.
That was great. But yeah, it seemed fake, like a little bit too fake. I just wanted to finish clarifying my thoughts on this. It was a little bit like just there's a moment where after he removes his thing where he moves his head back and it just looks so unnatural. It's like the face's mask is following the face and you can just sort of see it just, it's not human. It's just it's like a little moment like that just, took me out of it. 90% of it was.
Yeah. I mean, all things considered.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. Are there going to be some nitpicking things? Definitely.
And
but
another
overall,
a plus to this being on Disney Plus is they can change it because it's a
Lord knows they will.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, they can change it and make it better.
3 years from now, if that technology gets just like bonkers great, they're going to be like,
yeah,
I'll be back.
Let's update this. Yeah.
Every couple of years, Leia gets a little cleaner on Rogue One.
Yeah, for sure.
More random droids start showing up in the background of
random cartoon shows. Animals. Yeah. Oh boy.
It's a loaf cat.
Loaf wolf. To the beginning. Which was
you get Slave One just in all of its glory. First they steal Dr. Pershing.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Dr. Pershing. I forgot all about that. That's a pretty key scene actually. Yeah.
Yeah. They steal him, and then random pilot guy just has some like really shitty things to say about Alderaan in front of Cara Dune.
Well, he has a point. Like from a certain point of view, it makes a lot of sense.
From a certain point of view, her whole planet got blown up.
So did his, is what he's saying. There were millions of people on the base. You know what I mean? But yeah.
On
the Death Star.
On the Death Star?
That's what his point is. It's like,
yeah, but all of those people helped blow up her planet.
Yeah. Small price to pay for order, I guess.
Yeah. Just an
this
entire planet's worth of life. Look,
they're exploring the other side of this, and the more they explore it, the more people are going to start realizing what this is equating to. And you don't think they'll see it? They're not going to see it.
No. I think enough people have had the the scene from Clerks about the independent contractors on the Death Star.
Yeah. Kevin Smith's been on top of this from day one. Yeah. Who is the guy with the biggest who is the guy with the biggest gun right now?
Who's the guy with the biggest
gun? In real life, who has
right
the
now?
Biggest weapon of mass destruction? Who has it?
I would say probably the President of the United States.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I mean, people, I don't know. It's like 2 + 2 to me, but I don't know how many people see it, you know? Death Star.
Yeah, but there's a fair amount of checks and balances with our current government system that just doesn't exist in, you just get Moff Tarkin saying, we're going to blow up an entire planet of people. There's, the Senate has been dismantled. We already know about that at the beginning of A New Hope. And that's a mass genocide, man.
It's slightly
Can't
different.
really explain that one away.
I mean, people get mass genocided though. Countries get wiped out, man. Like, yeah. Stuff gets messed up.
We should be okay with that?
I don't know if we should be okay with it. I don't know, man. What do you think?
No, I think firmly no. We should not be okay with mass genocide.
Okay,
well, I'm on the side of life.
Okay, yeah. See, it's just how do you? It's the same conversation we're having. Like, how do you accept the benefits of our culture while at the same time being okay with wiping out other cultures? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know that I accept that premise that one equals the other.
It's a shame that it has to be with brute force in some instances,
With what?
Brute force is required.
Oh, brute force. I thought you said group force. I'm like, what is group force? Is this something that I haven't heard about?
New category
is this like Landmark or something?
Just to me, the parallels seem obvious, but maybe it's different.
I think the pilot of the X-Wing or whatever type of ship that was, the kid that was in the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who holds Dr. Pershing hostage.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any sort of takeaway for me, I don't think his point of view serves anything other than to show how radicalized those guys can be.
Right, but they don't. What my point is they're radicalized, but they don't know they're radicalized. See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, I believe that. I believe they know that I'm sure they think they're doing a good job, but at the same time, that dude also just like shot his co-pilot out of nowhere. Okay, if you're a radicalized, whatever, I don't know. He still wasn't a good dude.
No, like, if he shot his buddy in the back, no, yeah.
Shot his buddy in the back and just like completely like trying to torment this person whose entire planet got destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a good idea.
Hey, everyone you've ever loved.
If somebody's holding a gun to your face, I don't think it's a good idea to antagonize them. I think that's probably the.
Oh yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah,
that was dumb. I don't know what kind of tactical advantage he was going for.
I don't know.
You know what my favorite part of that scene is? Dr. Pershing, after that dude gets shot, just screaming about how he can't hear or whatever.
That's what he's like.
Ow.
He does seem to be on the child side. He does seem to be on Grogu's side.
Yeah, once they get into that planning stage and he's like, hey, you want some info? I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Don't hurt me.
Because he's always been about it's more like science. Like he's just about the science. Like
right. Yeah, he just wants to figure out his fun thing, and that's it. But in between those two scenes, we do get the Bo-Katan and O'Girl and Boba Fett and Mando.
And someone is conveniently missing from the scene.
Yeah, where's the third guy?
Yeah, exactly. I
don't know.
He conveniently was on a vacation, taking a pee break.
Yeah.
He didn't want to come
Maybe
with
he's
them.
doing some recon on some.
Did he get murdered?
Like, something else.
It's just conveniently for later for the all-girl scene. There's no third guy. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And how did you feel about Sasha Banks? Like, I have a friend that was upset because she seemed to dominate Boba Fett, but I didn't feel like she really dominated him. I felt like it was a pretty even match there.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty even match. I mean, let's be honest. Look, Boba Fett, he's no spring chicken.
Yeah, he's getting up there. I mean, he's a badass.
He's badass, but he doesn't have as much spring in his step. So a youthful, trained militant,
exactly,
it seems fair. Do okay.
The fight seemed fair to me, but from other people's point of view, they feel like she got the one up on him, and I feel like it was pretty fair, pretty square deal. And I feel like he was probably holding back, knowing that they wanted him to come with it.
Yeah, I definitely think they were the more level-headed in the scenario. Man, the Bo-Katan of like, I've heard your voice 1,000 times.
That was stab in the heart.
For real. Yeah. But then, him countering with, it could be the last voice you ever hear.
That was pretty dope.
Like, yeah, that was a good scene.
Yeah.
There's a good amount of strife going on.
The drama and tension in this episode was just so well executed. I mean, props to everyone in charge. Jesus, Jon Favreau. Who directed this? It was
Peyton Reed.
Yeah,
Peyton Reed.
It's just
of the Ant-Man movies.
The storytelling in this episode, this is what we need from Star Wars. I think, just this episode. Every time I rewatch it, it's like, this is perfect drama. This is just it's set up perfect.
It was great.
Yeah.
If I have a complaint about the episode, it is the Dark Troopers just constantly shifting, lining up, and this weird techno music that was going with it. I did not dig that.
They held the shots too long. They're just slightly too long. I think if they would have
felt like they kept coming back to it just a little bit more. It was like, all right, and here they are marching slowly, making things happen.
I think if the editing was just slightly tighter, it would have paid off more. I think they were going for a Terminator type vibe, and it just didn't quite hit.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It just had a little bit too much Prodigy in it.
Yeah, you can see why, because they're full Cylon. They remind me of Cylons. From Battlestar Galactica. It really
never watched it.
You never. Okay.
I've heard it's great though.
You got another thing to watch.
I've heard it's great.
Hey, you got Katie Sackhoff in that.
Right.
They really remind me of Cylons, and it's a cross between Cylons and Terminators, and they were just holding on those shots. I don't know. Maybe I feel like they had a real one that they built, and the CG one.
Oh.
So they were holding on the real one too long, and then they would cut to the CG one, and it would just be overall too much shot of it.
Right.
I think is the problem. They didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because they know they built one, and then they know the CG took forever, so they just kept it all. But if they just edited it just a little bit tighter, I think it would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another gripe. I have another gripe too.
Oh, you got another gripe?
Yeah.
Hit me. What's your gripe?
The dark saber who she wouldn't just take it. All that drama that Gideon brewed up with why she couldn't take it, and she had previously just taken it from Sabine at some point.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And especially when you're looking at 5 people who would know the truth.
Mm-hmm. And this has happened before in this show, where they've introduced something that we questioned, and then they explained it later. So I'm hoping they explain this later. Maybe that's why she wasn't able to take Mandalore back, is because she didn't have that story. So maybe,
I think
it is true.
Right. It could very well be a thing of hey, everybody, I got the Darksaber. I'm here to rule Mandalore. And they were like, well, did you defeat Maul? Nah, not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, somebody just gave it to you. Tribes.
Yeah. So if they explain that, then it makes sense, but if it's not addressed, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I think that's probably what they'll do, is explain it that way. She tried before and they didn't accept her story or whatever.
Right.
But it was just a little jarring, because I knew that Sabine had handed it to her before. So it's what's the deal? Just take it. He's like, I yield, which was clever,
Yeah. No. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, that works.
Yeah. It worked for me, but it didn't work for her.
I got no problem with that. I had no problem with
it. Yeah. Just give it to him.
Twist my arm. I
Yes.
yield. It's yours. Yeah.
I just
I
wonder.
got this Beskar spear, and turns out it's just as rad.
Yeah. Which, yeah, it held up.
It works. It works for me.
It got a little warm. Got a little heated there.
Got a little warm. Yeah. Don't want to grab that with a bare hand.
No.
You gotta get a pot holder.
Yeah.
Gotcha with that one.
That was a little off guard there.
Yep.
Woo!
Boba Fett just bounced once they got on the ship.
Yeah, that was convenient.
Yeah. And on one hand, I was like, man, feel like he should have come back. But then from a storytelling standpoint, I was like, probably best for him not to have a run in with Luke.
Yeah,
that
Luke
would be weird.
Murdered his ass.
Yeah, they would have been like, oh, Boba Fett, cool. Crunch.
Speaking of the crunch, oh my God. That was
right?
very
brutal.
Vadery. That was sick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
the Luke we've always wanted to see, right? Like that's what everybody.
Yeah.
That's
right.
We got it finally. In something called the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Who knew? What do you think? You think they're gonna do a Luke show? Because
not a chance.
The CG's just not good enough.
Yeah, it's not there. If they went with another actor, they could do it, but that, they tried that with Solo and everybody hated it.
That's why I thought it was going to be Sebastian Stan. I really did. I really thought it would be him.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going
to. And, they got him locked up for Winter Soldier. So, he's already on the payroll.
Yeah. I really thought it was going to be him. And maybe, I was thinking in my head, maybe they are going to do Sebastian Stan. Maybe the next time it will be him. And maybe the reason Luke looks so weird is because maybe they combined Sebastian Stan's face and Mark Hamill's face. And maybe that's why. But I don't know. Maybe that's way too... would they?
Yeah, I think that's. I think the opportunity was there, and they didn't pull the trigger on it. So,
and like I said, it's streaming. So if they decided to, they could always change it. You know what I mean?
That's true. They could change him to Hayden Christensen. Just throw him as a Force ghost in the background.
Hey, yeah, sure. I murdered children, but hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Hey,
we're still cool, right?
We're cool, right? Everybody still remembers me from the prequels.
Right. Speaking of recasting, because it did work with Ewan McGregor.
And it worked with Lando.
Mm-hmm. When Rebels had Obi-Wan on Tatooine.
Oh, you saw that one.
And they did not use the voice of the guy from Clone Wars and went with a more Alec Guinness sounding fella.
Mm-hmm.
Threw me off.
Oh,
I was like, oh man, I'm ready for Clone Wars voice guy to show up and do his version of older Obi-Wan. And then it was completely new person
who sounded noticed that. It didn't really bother me.
Yeah, it kind of irked me a little bit. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just a choice that I wasn't expecting them to make. A fourth Obi-Wan.
Yeah, there's been a few, I guess, voice actors doing it. It didn't bother me so much. Which episode did you see with him? I can't remember what happened.
I saw him and Maul.
Yeah, you saw that one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I was sad.
It was beautifully done.
Yeah, it was beautifully done. But I feel like somebody said you have to kill Maul. I feel like from up top, somebody was like, hey, you have to kill him.
It just seemed like he's been popping up in all of these places, and
there was a lot more story to tell, I feel like. And somebody was like, no, you just have to kill him.
There's plenty of story to tell, but it would be within those earlier time frames, I think.
George
Crimson
Lucas,
Dawn at its height.
The George Lucas version of 7, 8, and 9, the most recent one, had Maul as one of the villains. So
cool.
I feel like this was a Kathleen Kennedy saying, no.
Let's close the loop on that one.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Man, you're about to come up on some good episodes of, you probably are experiencing some good Rebels. What are you thinking? Seeing Ezra go dark a little bit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially early on in, I forgot if it's season 4 or season 3, where he has the holocron and he's asking it for help and maybe going a little dirty. He's powerful.
He's very powerful.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The Maul, commenting that he's his apprentice stuff. I thought all that was really interesting. Really enjoyed it.
Up until Mandalorian, that was the best Star Wars I've seen in a long time. It's from Rebels. So if you If you're listening, you haven't watched Rebels yet, hop on that.
Look, if you're watching The Mandalorian, you got the Disney Plus, so just go back and do it.
Yeah. Season 1's a little more kiddie than the rest, but you hang in there. It's good.
Yeah. Also, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is better than half the movies.
That's brand new. Yeah. You're right about the animation in Rebels with Ahsoka. It's like very pointy. Like everything in Rebels.
Everything in Rebels is angled.
So it's like stretched out vertically for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a problem with their rendering technology. Everything is
I just think it's a stylized choice.
Yeah.
It was just like the animation style.
Yeah, they're like, let's just do everything tall and angly.
Yeah, and I think when we get into it's like watching that first version of the Clone Wars, like that was like the little mini episodes.
The first one was like
in between
hand drawn.
Right. It's like the difference between that and then the TV show Clone Wars. Like, there's some stylized differences. So you just kind of chalk it up to that.
What are we doing? Like, do we want to promote something? With the song that plays at the beginning of every episode, you can listen to it. You can get the full song. It's not released on Spotify or anywhere yet, but you can get it before it comes out. Just go to isthisentertainment.com/pleased to meet you, one word, and you can download it for free. All you got to do is sign up for the mailing list and get on there, and you can get updates from us. I know, because we waited a long time to make new music, and I'm finally writing stuff. Ben's writing stuff, and we're working together for the first time in 15 years or something, right?
Yeah. It's crazy town.
So I like the way it sounds, and if you guys like the way it sounds in the intro, listen to the whole song, because we spent a lot of time on this, and it would mean a lot if you listen to it and give us some feedback.
Yeah, give us a listen.
And if for some reason you can't find that link, just go to the show notes. You should be able to find it.
Awesome.
Did we skip over something in this episode? I feel like we did.
We skipped over the Dark Trooper and Mando fight. We skipped over the Mando and Moff Gideon fight.
The Mando Dark Trooper, I freaked out a little bit when that door closed and those hands were in there opening the door. I freaked out. I was like, he's going to get fucked.
The most tension I had was when he was getting repeatedly punched in the face and his helmet was not breaking down, which was nice.
That was awesome.
It was embedding into the wall. That was wild.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, I had a friend that was like, that's so dumb. He should have been knocked out. I was like, that just shows you the Beskar holding up, man. Yeah,
the Beskar really, really holds up. But man, like, he's gonna have CTE after this.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the crap out of that. That was
I was really anxious during that scene. It was just like, get out of this. This is terrible.
Nothing worked. He just had to spear him up.
Yeah.
Him up. Yeah.
Decapitate him. Oh, you know what? It was in Revenge of the Sith when there's a droid and Obi-Wan cuts his head off, but it still keeps going. And I'm like, why keep the brain of a droid
in the head?
Yeah. That doesn't need to happen.
It doesn't.
So now anytime when a head gets cut off and then the thing just shuts down, I'm like, I feel like that's a design flaw.
Yeah, minor flaw.
Put the brain in like the left leg or something. Yeah, just something real.
Something random.
Like, yeah.
Some other appendage in the kidney, the fake kidney.
The center of the thing.
Yeah, the heart.
You know? Yeah. Right there.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's probably where most people
that's
aim.
The most easily defendable.
Most people probably aim at the center, though. So
True.
You know. Speaking of heads coming off, the Luke decapitating the Dark Trooper and then throwing the head at another Dark Trooper.
Man. That was great.
Oh, yeah. Dude. And did you notice he pulled the trooper with the Force toward him and then sliced him in half? Oh,
yeah, I did. God. Yeah, I noticed.
Wow. Yep. That's the kind of Force stuff we want to see. You know?
That's right. Use all of the tools, man.
Yeah.
You got a whole toolbox. Use all of them.
Pure happiness. Like I want to see it again. Like I want to see more Luke, and I just don't know how they're going to do it. You know? You can't just always shoot him from the back.
Right. Also, did the design of R2 seem narrower?
That probably was a lens they were using because he was on the side of the frame, so maybe it was just like a lens problem.
I felt like I was like, okay, this looks like R2, but his cylinder seemed maybe like a little smaller and a little taller.
I wasn't nitpicking
normally
too much.
Say anything, except for seeing R2 in the new trilogy, especially like up next to BB-8. yeah, I thought like if there has to be like uniform dimensions on R2, you
Yeah.
know?
I think it's
Like,
probably just lens distortion.
that can't
So
be a
they were
mystery.
probably using
Okay.
a particular lens, because also when you're doing things, you're compositing images, you might be right. It's like, they're taking an image from one computer graphic and overlaying it on another one. And if they would have used, maybe it got stretched somewhere, like you might be right. They might have mismanaged.
Yeah, just next time you watch, take a look. Tell me if I'm going crazy.
Yeah, it could be like just a mismanagement of assets. Yeah, like they didn't know which lens, because even when you make something digitally, you use a lens, a fake lens to interpret it so that it looks like cinema. And so if they had done that and then done it again on top of it, it might have stretched it in a weird way. So that could be a problem. Yeah. That's an interesting nitpick that you noticed that. I'll have to keep an eye out.
Yeah.
It did feel like they kept on R2 like a little too long too. Like they held on him for a bit. I don't know. It's all these lingering shots. It's like they want us to have an emotional, thing, but it's just like a little bit too long. A little too long.
Mm-hmm. There was a great moment where, right after R2 and Grogu have their little conversation, and then Grogu's like, "Okay, I'm ready to go," and he like just lifts his arm up.
Yeah,
for Luke to
picks
pick him up.
Yeah.
So it was great. He was like, pick me up, please.
Let's go.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That's cute. Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
And before that, when Den takes off his helmet, I thought that was great.
Oh yeah,
I felt that one.
Yeah, Grogu kind of like reaching for his face. Yeah, you can tell like that's what he wants.
And he mentions he'll see him again. So at some point, I think they're giving us that so that we know that
that their story isn't over. Yeah, I think we probably go through. There could be any number of ways they could handle this. They could do a time jump after this season. Skip ahead a few years. Maybe the Darksaber's in a new place now, and then you get a slightly older, much more mature Grogu.
Could happen.
With a Jedi braid,
with words coming out. Words coming out of his mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. He actually talked. That'd be nice. Yep. Although other people might be upset that he's not no longer a baby, but it would be interesting to see him speaking and communicating verbally.
Yep. Or it could be an angsty teenager. They could go the Groot route.
I mean, he has a little bit of attitude. He's always had that, so I'm sure they'll explore that a bit.
The emotion of that scene of Din taking his head off or his helmet off. Man, that guy can do so much without using a whole lot of words.
Yeah,
just a great actor.
And so more than one thing is happening there. Like he's also showing that he's done with, like he's really done with the what is it? What is it? Watch. The watch?
Death Watch or
the watch.
Whatever.
He's done with that code. He's done with the cult code, I think.
Yeah, I don't know that he's like completely done, but he's definitely
on the way there.
Yeah, he's getting close.
I'm sure somebody else saw his face too when he took the mask off.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And then is he the one to unite Mandalore?
He has the Darksaber.
I mean, he has the Darksaber. He's good with at least two factions of Mandalorians.
Mm-hmm. It is called the Mandalorian.
It is called the Mandalorian. Is that what we're heading toward? To him, uniting this like force in the galaxy.
For that to happen, do you think he will fight Bo-Katan? Like
maybe she'll yield to him eventually and be like, you know what? No,
you're the rightful.
I had my shot and I blew it.
Yeah. Well, where were we going? We were going somewhere. Oh, the end of the show. The Boba Fett, the Book of Boba, the
Book of Boba Fett. Man, they just conveniently left that out of the Disney investor
meeting
program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, and there's one more thing, but we can't talk about it because it's hella spoilery. Mm-hmm. You'll find out next week.
It was good to see, what's his name? Bib Fortuna.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He hasn't skipped a whole lot of meals.
No, he's living it up there.
No.
He's of people that deserve the throne. He probably deserved it. Probably more than anybody else. He served his time.
He was the number 2 guy to Jabba.
Yeah, he put his time in. He knew
I'm
how to run
surprised that
stuff.
it wasn't another Fett that stepped in. I feel like there's more of them.
Right. It's supposed to be like a family type gangs thing, right?
Right.
But he was there. He was there the whole time. He knew how the business worked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Continuity.
Just fill in.
Yeah, you're probably talking. It's been like a 5-year gap. Is this 5 years after?
I want to say at this point it's
Endor?
closer to 9.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that though. It's between 5 and 9.
I'm gonna Google it. doing it.
Okay. Two guys Googling stuff.
Two guys Googling stuff. Welcome back to Two Guys Googling Star Wars.
Also, we should mention this. We wanted to thank you guys for listening. I just want to ask one favor. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to comment. Just tell one person about the podcast that you think might be interested. That's it. Just tell one person.
Okay, so it's 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, which would be A New Hope. So then 5 years after Battle of Endor, Fall of the Empire.
That makes sense. That's why Luke looks so young.
So it's been 5 years since Jabba was killed.
I was surprised, like the shot of Jabba's palace, it felt smaller. Like the palace felt smaller. And I don't know if that's just a function of they didn't build out the full set yet or what. Like it just felt like before it seemed more grand.
I didn't get that sense. I always felt claustrophobic in those scenes anyway. Maybe it was because there's a whole lot of people in them too.
Right.
One thing that I did immediately was like, Boba, don't walk over that grate, man.
Yeah.
Like there's a trap door. You know that. Don't walk through walk around the grate.
For
bro.
Sure. Yeah. For sure. Did he walk over it?
He did.
Oh.
He walks right over
it's
it.
After he shot everybody though.
Yeah, except for,
Bib. You think the Rancor's dead. You think they got a new one? Maybe they didn't replace it. That's not, you don't need a budget for that. They don't have it. And just the murdering aspect of that. It just seems like Boba had kind of become more, what is the word?
Moral
or fair at least. And then to just go in and murder everyone.
I feel like he probably blamed them a little for, him being stuck in the Sarlacc pit. He had some time to think about how they did him dirty.
And maybe they didn't pay him correctly.
It wasn't really his fault.
But they should have paid him for Han, right? Because he brought him. Maybe they didn't pay him in full.
I think he just remained in Jabba's employ.
So why would you kill? Like that's what I don't understand. Why would you just? I'm sure they'll explain it in the Book of Boba.
I don't know. Maybe because they didn't send anybody into the Sarlacc pit to help him out.
Right.
He had to figure out his own way. Yeah.
Well, they blew everything up.
Or maybe that's how his armor got taken from. I don't know. I bet we'll find out.
Even after seeing this and seeing Boba in real life, I'm still not that excited about the show.
I have a middle amount of interest. I would put it at the same amount of interest as The Bad Batch, which is like pretty much in the middle for me. I think Visions is on the low end as far as like things that I'm highly anticipating.
Right.
I would say the Obi-Wan show, the Ahsoka show, and the Acolyte show are like at the top of my list. Rogue Squadron, I think it's probably close to Rogue, maybe a little less than Rogue Squadron. I am excited for a new movie to come out.
It's strange that you're more excited about going back, and I'm excited about going forward from Mandalorian. Like Mandalorian season 3, what is the Rebel? What is it called?
Yeah, but it's gonna be a year before Mando season 3 happens,
and Boba. The Boba show is going to be next.
True. Yeah.
They're going to come out
I don't know.
Simultaneously. It looks like.
Yeah, I would put it in a similar area as the Cassian Andor show.
I think your whole priority will change when you finish Rebels.
Maybe
the Ahsoka thing, man. That's going to be something else. That's going to be. I think we'll see things that we've never seen in Ahsoka.
Cool. I'm also like really excited for the Acolyte. I think that's going to be cool. Some old school High Republic. Nobody's touched, other than that video game Knights of the Old Republic. Nobody's touched that stuff. But then you can tell that there's like this new comic book High Republic. There's new content coming out about the High Republic, and
I hope they learn from the back
200 years in the past. So it's like a different era.
Did you see that meeting though that they had where they're like dinosaurs and diversity and like that was what they wanted to put in the High Republic. Like they had a list of things on the board. Like there was a little bit of pushback from this in the Star Wars community. They're like, what the? Why is that? Why are dinosaurs more important than story? Their priorities for the High Republic are strange, to say the least. Like, why is that the thing that's important? Like dinosaurs and diversity.
Well, I would say diversity is important.
It's important, you should have some, but at the expense of story, I don't know that that's true. And Star Wars has always been diverse. For the most part, and you got
but I think there's two different things kind of we're talking about here, because in the world of Star Wars, there is a diversity of
life forms,
alien life,
intelligent life.
Exactly.
Yeah, all different.
Yeah. So having all of the main characters be like humanoid and, it gives
different perspective.
It opens the door to a different type of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And on a more human level, the diversity of something like Black Panther, that is a story that hasn't been told. And once it was told, blew the doors off, like financially, culturally, like had a huge impact. So if there's a way to tap in for Star Wars to tap into that, of course they're going to do it. Because it does. It offers a new. It is a new way to tell a story. That it's the same thing as like Taika Waititi. His point of view is so incredibly unique.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's a New Zealand kind of a thing, but his aesthetic is so personal to him, and is just a different way of telling a story. And if you put that in the Star Wars framework, I'm for it. Thor Ragnarok was great.
And to raise is something that Star Wars shows. I mean, they show, hey, the Empire's mostly white dudes,
Yeah, mostly white and British.
Yeah, and they show that. And I think there's a reason for that, obviously. And
the
clones. Yeah, Thrawn's blue. The clones are all kind of a particular race. You never think about this, but they are.
Yeah.
So there's some things going on with race that are maybe not exactly parallel, but similar to things going on in the real world, as we should maybe say. Having that indigenous voice, it could give us something we've really never seen. So Taika Waititi's really could be something.
A lot of anticipation for that one, but I also know it's a ways off. So I'm trying to like temper that expectation because he's got a lot going on. There's a lot on that guy's plate. So
yeah, and really, I think this is why I like Star Wars. So we'll go back to Star Wars. Like this is why I like Star Wars so much, because it's kind of addressing these issues on a level that I think it's like people aren't really ready for the truth, but it's sort of giving it to them in a way. And I think that's why I like it so much.
Well, certainly this season of The Mandalorian is asking a lot of questions, and it's making you think about a lot of stuff. You being the audience member, not you specifically, but you know what I mean? Like it is asking us to grapple with things like point of view, which I think is ultimately what George Lucas wanted with the prequels, just didn't execute super well, because we all saw that Anakin's point of view was incredibly selfish.
Yeah, save Padme. Yeah, it was simple. It was understandable.
But then save Padme. But then it also turned to my new empire. I can,
power and
right.
Yeah, he thought he could have it all.
I want to be the most powerful, more powerful than any Jedi. All that stuff.
The fall of him was his
seduced by power.
His quest for power.
Tale as old as time.
True story.
Yeah.
Another thing we didn't talk about was Giancarlo. His scene with Baby Yoda with the sword, the Darksaber, how he was ready. He was ready for everything, and somehow he knows everything. Do you think he has like a little bit of force
juice?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think he's very tactical. From the minute things go awry, because Mando already sent him a radio hologram.
Yeah, he was ready.
Coming.
He knew.
Shouldn't have done that. So he knew something was up. And the second things go awry, he's like, all right, I need to get to Baby Yoda's so that we can have this showdown. Anyone who thought he was going to stay on the bridge, Bo-Katan, come on.
Right.
He's going to be where the high prize is.
Yeah, the valuable.
I did think it was interesting that he
tried. That was a very it was a very mustache twirly speech he gave.
Yeah.
I think he pulled it off.
Yeah, he was great at that. He's great.
It would be pure cheese. Like it was kind of cheesy, but like I accepted it. Like I felt like he really had the power in the room there. He was able, like, okay, like maybe he can convince, and he did. He convinced Den that he'll let him go.
Right.
Up to the second that he didn't. Which was crazy intense. That Darksaber onslaught of attacks. Like he even hit him in the helmet with that thing. Like,
right.
He just went off.
Beskar held up.
That was awesome. That was intense. The whole episode was intense for me.
Ooh, speaking of intensity, the scene where Cara Dune and Fennec are walking across the non-guardrailed plank,
right,
and then it's just open space below them with like a little blue force field to keep the air in. F that noise, man. I was like, nope, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
We will find another way around.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No thanks. That and then intense. Stormtrooper just falls through. Like, you don't have a safeguard for that. OSHA. It is an OSHA nightmare. No wonder the Imperial. You know, if the Imperials are so, if they have all of this, you know, such a hard on for control.
Well, I think
they don't have.
That's part of it.
They don't have an OSHA.
I think that's part of it. Like the fear that you could die at any moment. Like if you just take a wrong step.
It's psychological in their architecture.
It has to be. Yeah. It's like if you misstep in real life anyway, like it's like literally that. Like, right. Don't misstep or you'll fucking fall. Like,
yep. I think it's all into the void of space.
Yeah. Then they flew up and took them out. Like,
yeah, that was rad.
It was perfectly executed. Like I didn't think about it being like team girl power at all until somebody mentioned it. Like, and that the fact the fact that that guy wasn't there was the only strange thing. Like, why didn't they bring the other guy? You know,
right?
Just to have the girl power scene. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely wasn't like shoehorned the way that the Avengers scene was.
No. No, it was organic. It was very organic.
Yeah, it was incredibly organic. It was wonderful. It was great.
Just minus the fact that he wasn't there. It was very organic. Like I didn't even notice it. It's just like, why are stormtroopers so dumb? Like, why are they always like, wait, freeze, halt?
I mean, yeah. Why would you ever? I mean, the clone troopers were efficient. They did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you switch from that dynamic? You know what? Budget cuts, probably.
Budget cuts, yeah.
I bet it was some budget cuts. Yeah. You know, you steal some kids, kidnap some kids, make them stormtroopers, grow them into the ranks, and then
I think theoretically
you don't have to pay the it wasn't Geonosis. What was that planet?
Yeah, it was Geonosis, the cloning planet.
Was it Geonosis? That was the cloning planet?
I think so.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for the clones. Just create them organically.
Yeah. I don't know. They had to be voluntary at this point because there wasn't enough time to start stealing babies. I don't think.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe they're just like, you know, hey, come work for us or whatever. Like,
right. Paying top dollar.
Did your friend blow up on the Death Star? Come get revenge. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that advertisement works. It's different kind of
Craigslist.
Different kind of Facebook pixel targeting.
Right.
Yeah.
We saw that you clicked on.
Yeah.
Do you have sympathy for the Empire?
Yeah. We got a question. From somebody. One of the listeners. And if you wanted to leave a question for us, you can go to isthisentertainment.com, leave a comment under the show notes for the episode. And he asked us, why did Luke have to confront Vader to become a Jedi? That's a good question because in the prequels, Jedi just go to school or whatever.
True. I do feel like there is some sort of like kind of final test, and that final trial is, you know, different for everybody. So maybe out of a lack of options, or was it more, or was what Yoda was trying to say less of, you won't officially be a Jedi. Instead of saying that, he was saying you won't be able to live as a Jedi if Vader is still out there. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And I think it makes sense because he didn't really have to make a decision whether or not to go down the dark side path until that point. So until he meets up with his father, he's not really tempted. And to make the correct quote choice to be a Jedi, then you would have to be forced to make that decision.
Right. Yeah. You have to confront the idea or the lure of the dark side.
Yeah, the part of yourself that might be willing to go down that path, just as Anakin did with wanting to bring back Padme was his downfall. You know, he wanted that power, regardless of the cost. And Luke made the decision. And I don't know if the answer is that simple. Like if that's really what it was, but to me, it seems that simple. What about?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think it can be that simple. I think that makes sense.
Because I don't know if he expected like a long answer. Like,
well, no, I think no. I mean, that's a long enough answer. You know, the having to confront
the option,
exactly the temptation.
The temptation. That's probably the more accurate word. Like all things being equal, he showed us that he had a little bit of dark side in him when he's choked out the Gamorrean guards and things like that. Like he was using some aggressive force.
Well,
stuff.
I mean, even in that, in his fight with Vader, once Leia gets brought up and he
lost. He messed up. He was gonna strike the Emperor down, right? And Vader stopped him.
We're talking about Luke?
Yeah.
No, he was, well, yeah, I mean, he did do that. But like later on, he ultimately takes down Vader and cuts his arm off because, he turns into a little rage ball when Vader says, I'll turn Leia instead.
But even before that, he was about to strike the Emperor down. He was tempting him to do it.
Oh yeah, he definitely tried to strike the Emperor down.
And doing that,
but he wasn't doing that. At that point, I feel like he was trying to strike the Emperor down, but he wasn't doing it with like using like fear and rage.
You don't think so? You don't think it was
saying,
like
with each step you're becoming more and more,
like if he murders the Emperor right there, he's unarmed. Like that's a dark side path, I think. Like just shutting him down. And if he did it, that might have been his downfall, like going a little dark. Like when Anakin cut down Dooku, that was that moment.
True.
That was the same moment.
Right.
So like the first time he just outright killed somebody unarmed.
Well, no, he killed the
Sand people was before?
Raiders.
That was
killed
before
those guys in cold blood. Yeah, that was in.
I thought Dooku was first. No,
Dooku was at the beginning of Sith.
Oh,
okay. The Sand people were in Attack of the Clones.
But they basically killed his mother. Yeah, but that's
yeah. So I think each one of those is a step toward. Yeah. A step toward.
And that's my point is that
but
if
ultimately it was his fear of loss is what ultimately led to it. That and his lust for power.
If Luke struck the Emperor down, though, that would have been a step toward.
That might have been a step, but it depends on. I think it depends.
And from that point of view, did Vader save Luke by stopping him from?
I think so.
Striking the.
I think so, definitely. Yeah. But at that point, Luke had already made the choice of like, all right, I'm going to put my weapon down because I don't want to turn into my father.
It just shows you like it's not all black and white, and like we change our minds like on a moment by moment basis. Like it's not like he was for sure going to do anything 100% of the time. Like it's moment to moment.
I think that's why like, he lets his emotions get the best of him. But then once he sees, the severed arm, the severed mechanical arm of Vader, he's like, he has the realization. He's like, okay, I need to dial it back a little bit because that's not who I am and who I want to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we all fuck up, right? So,
oh yeah, definitely.
Just taking a step back it's hard. It's hard to just take a step back when you mess up, like, and not just dive deeper into it, and like that.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's a sign of like real maturity. Like as we get older, just not burying ourselves in the mistake and just being like, okay, well, that was bad, but let me just take a minute.
Yeah. How are we going to move forward?
Yeah. There's another way. There might be another way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that pretty much answers that question. So thank you. Thanks, Russell, for asking us that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Russell.
The next
we'll see. Episode, I think we've got some music episodes.
Yeah, we're gonna go hard on Metallica.
Yeah, we got a Metallica conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see what else we got.
Yeah, we might do kind of a little bit of a variety thing. We're not sure exactly, so please leave a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, if there's a show that you're watching and you want us to talk about, throw it out there. Yeah. Why not?
Okay, as far as Star Wars cinema is concerned, like this is the best 45 minutes of Star Wars I've seen in forever, like since Rogue One, I guess.
No, I wouldn't even. Honestly, I would not even put this as the best episode of The Mandalorian.
You don't think so? What?
That's our next topic. Our next topic is
we'll go hard in the whole
entire season.
Bow season.
Yeah,
bow season.
We'll put a bow. Yeah, we'll put a bow on the whole. Yeah, we'll put a bow on it for now.
All right. And
on what we thought of season 2 and maybe some season 1.
Yeah. And thanks for listening. And the music you're hearing, if you want to hear the full song, you want to know what we're doing right now, go to the link in the description. Get the freaking thing. Get the song, please. We want some feedback on this, on our new music, what you think of it. And we've got some more new music in the works. And thanks again. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate you.
Yeah. And I'm going to just stop the recording.
Cool.